All right. My thoughts on the Heli S2 Cobra kit. This was the Goosky original that I don't even know, lots of flights anyways. It's all right. I like the jaw. That was my main thing, and then also the 3D printed aperture that went in the mandible up here. That was great for one-handed battery changes, basically. So let me go with all the cons that I can think of right now on this kit. First and foremost, battery changes is a real downgrade. You gotta fight and pinch and hold around in here, and it's just, what are you gonna do? Oh, okay, there. You know, it's just, I don't like that. The old one, I can just hold it up, flip it with one hand, push it right in place. So I will probably come up with something that I can 3D print an upper layer here on the inside, so I can keep the female side locked in place. Other con was this had a lot of really tiny itty bitty screws, and they got frustrating in some places. Like right here, you can see that PETG printed washer that they got in here as a spacer. Getting that in was rough. Fighting through the tails placement, because the boom kind of sits behind. The actual main boom sits behind in here. So this whole thing took about 3 hours to get installed. I don't really like this. I think they could have done better. But at the same time, I'm not using the stock motor and boom mount. So the motor mount is their own branded micro heli, but they didn't. I don't know. They just figured you're going with a different canopy, probably the classic, which we'll get into in a second. I don't like the coloring; doesn't match. I will probably strip this off and put either bright, vibrant yellow or just leave it. Tail. That color works. I guess we're sliding into the positives now. Okay, so the canopy does look really sharp. I mean, that's a nice, beautiful canopy. It's got a pop in the air. It's got a nice gloss. I dig it. The profile here gives you really good orientation. What can I say? I really think it was a massive improvement over the original. Just don't want to crash it because this is a $60 kit. I got it on sale at 40% off. So, I mean, yeah, Micro Heli, wait for their sales. This was the other one I bought, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I like it. I mean, I hope the camera picks it up, but there's a nice color shift in there, going from a blue to a purple. I think that is just rad. Especially if you had this with a yellow or blue tail. Probably a yellow tail would look really good on it. So I waffled around, but in the end, I just decided to go with the premium Micro Heli. But this other kit, too, that they got, this is the classic shape, you know, with the jaw. I might end up putting it back on this style. The new motor holds better. So, yes, the new motor helped. It's got a nice guard here that protects the from debris on crashes. So I got to give them a hand. You know, Micro Heli does do some thoughtful upgrades. The landing gear, again, a really nice, robust landing gear. I mean, this is a solid piece of landing gear for sure. So the skids are great. Overall, it's been an improvement, but I have my gripes, and the chief among them were I think they could do something better about the battery changing, because this is definitely a downgrade, my battery changing, and I don't know, it just looks tacky like this at the end, so we could have done something better. I extended the tail boom here by 8 millimeters. I don't have an opinion on it because I don't have the skill level to really determine, but I guess it makes it feel more floaty and docile and less snappy. But I mean, it's an S2. You can crank it up, and I have it cranked at minimum anyways. Oh, one big improvement. I went back to the original Goosky blades. I had these Vulcans on and they were crap. I hate them. Very snappy. Yes, I'll give them that. But it takes a lot more collective to produce lift because the blade doesn't bite nearly as much as the Goosky blades. So these produce less lift, but they're very agile and snappy. So if you're a twitch flyer, maybe that'd be fine for you. But what I have, I'm a slow, gentle flyer, and I had a big problem. The tail was just slowly drifting, and I couldn't do anything to keep. And I was constantly correcting it, and then it would just start drifting again. And I would correct it, and it would just keep. So as soon as I took them off, I'm done with these. I'm not using them ever again. $30 waste of money, and I got 3 sets of them. They suck. Goosky blades, cheap and they work. They're designed for the craft. The PIDs are tuned for it and everything. If Goosky got their act together and give you a little more tuning in the app, cool. One other complaint I guess I could have about this micro Heli kit: the instructions are okay. They're passable, but all right. Like here's a good legit gripe. Small pins, medium pins, and I think I had 3 sets of pins, and small, medium, and large. So you kind of had to decide, wait, okay, these are the, they could have given you an exact measurement. That's nitpicky, but whatever. It's passable instructions, but they're not the best. Overall, would I do it again? I'll probably eventually switch over to this one. That's my honest opinion. I think I'll end up switching to this one just for the fact that I can have the quick, easy access to the battery swaps, and the thought of wrecking it a $60 canopy on an S2. I mean, these micro Heli upgrades. Oh yeah, I added this one too, the anti-rotation guide. The S2 ones are okay, but I just put in a metal one since I was at it. I wish I had gotten red or silver, but whatever. They didn't have them in stock. All right. So yeah, micro Heli upgrades worth more than the value of my S2 almost. Well, not quite, but definitely probably at least a third or almost even half by the time you add all the mods. microheli.com